Put the needle on the record.
You know why that needle's going on the record? Because it's time. It's the first episode of New York Knicks 3 and D, the ultimate New York Knicks podcast. Oh, here, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Everyone knows I love the Knickerbockers. Everyone knows I love the Giants because you probably already follow me on Online Big Blue Sports, New York Giants straight talk. But this is all talk New York Knicks all the time. This is the Inception podcast, or the first podcast, whatever you want to call it. But you know what? This was more, I guess this was more of a vanity project because of the fact that I've talked about it before on my Giants podcast. I love the Giants, but the Knicks have always been my passion. Basketball has always been my passion, and to have an opportunity to do a Knicks podcast is something I've talked about doing for a while now, but I just never got around to it. But you never know. It's one of those things that you're just like, the future is now. And let's talk New York Knicks. It's amazing the first month of the season really is already underway. It's already done. And I think that from a perspective of the New York Knicks, you have to look at it in regards to the fact that this is kind of what you expected. At least it's kind of what I expected. The Knicks were going to beat up on the bad teams, and they were going to play tough against the better competition, but probably still come up short. The Knicks, for all their passion, for all their heart, for all their grit, and let's be honest, Tom Thibodeau has gotten a lot out of this roster because there's really not much of a change. You got DiVincenzo who comes in. That was our big signing. But if you look at it, we had probably more subtractions than we did additions. We're going to talk about Obi Toppin in a little bit. So we're also going to talk about how the Knicks have to stay away from potentially making a disastrous trade. But like I said, if you go back to the very first game of the season when the Knicks dropped that heartbreaker to the Boston Celtics with the Kristaps Porzingis 3, 108-104, you kind of felt like that was going to set the tone for the season because then we went on and took care of the Atlanta Hawks. We dropped the game to the Pelicans. We also then went and kicked the bejesus out of the who do we beat that day? Oh, we beat the vaunted Cleveland Cavaliers. And then we lost a back-to-back to Cleveland. So, but it was kind of this seesaw battle, right in 5 right now. We've had some good wins. We played well against the Bucks back on November 3rd, which we lost 110-105. It's just been this season. And it's kind of going to what I felt was going to be the game plan of the season itself, which was basically going to be, like I said, we beat up on the bad teams, we hang tough with the good teams, and we may squeak some wins out of the, against those really good teams, but it's going to be where we're at because we're not stuck in a quagmire. We're not mired in mediocrity. We are just a team that, again, is learning how to build on momentum and how to build on wins. You take a look at the Saturday's game against the Hornets. Knicks took that one 122-108. You had Mitchell Robinson coming up with 11 offensive rebounds, setting, I think it was either setting or tying a New York Knicks record. He has played well. Robinson is. He is giving you more than you probably anticipated that he was going to give you going into the season. You had this thought process. You had this feeling that he was going to take the next step. But the problem is, scoring wise, he has not done that, but defensively, rebounding wise, like I said, that game on Saturday, he had 4 points, only 1 assist, but he had 14 rebounds, and 11 of those rebounds, of course, were all offensive. He's averaging almost 30 minutes a game, and shooting 56% from the floor. He's averaging 11 rebounds, only 6 points with almost 1.5 blocks, and also almost 1.3 steals. He is making that progression. He is making that transition. Is he ever going to be that dominant center that you see in the league? Is he going to be a Joel Embiid? Is he going to be a Karl Anthony Towns? No, but I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be more athletic. His biggest issue is he's going to have to stay healthy. Right now, his career high in minutes was last year at 27. He's at 29.8 this year. He's going to have to increase those minutes. You got to remember, he's been here since 18. You think of Mitchie the Kid being young, but he has been here, going on 6 years? You would think he's a youngster. I always had this feeling, it's crazy because when I think of Mitchell Robinson, I think of when they drafted him, and I'm like, well, geez, he's only been here for like 2 or 3 years. No, he's been here. He's been here. Daniel Jones 6. Well, of course, Daniel Jones only been here for 5, but he's made that progression. He's shown you what he has. He's got this tantalizing talent that you see it, that you don't always see in a center. And you get worried that his injuries are going to derail his career. But, at this point in time, like I said, I think he's going to take that next step. I think he's going to move to that next level. And if you want to talk about someone moving to the next step, and I talked about this before in reference to not making a bad trade, is RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett has missed some games because of migraines. And now listen, if anyone that has had a migraine, it's a crusher. It literally is a crusher. It literally will not allow you to focus and do things that you need to do. And the bright lights and the sound and the noises really puts you in a disadvantage to the fact that you really cannot even move. So it's something to keep an eye on, but he's 23 years old. He's going to push through it, but if you want to pick a player on the Knicks right now that you believe will make that next step, take that next level and go to maybe all-star level. Like I said, I don't think he is going to be a guy that's ever going to be in the MVP conversation, but I do think RJ Barrett can be an all-star. It's going to be Barrett. Right now, he's averaging 21 points a game, shooting 46.9% for the floor, 46.7% for three, almost 3.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 steals, and 2 blocks. He's been that scoring presence. He has been that additional option for the Knicks when needed, when he's been, like I said, when he has played. He did come back. He did just come back against the Hornets, played 26 minutes, 15 points, 5 for 15, 1 for 5 for 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He is a guy that, like I said, he is a guy that I think he is really going to make that leap. I've talked about it even on the Giants podcast. I find it interesting that if you watch RJ attack the basket right now, he has been attacking the basket using both his left and his right hand. We didn't really see that from him in the early part of his career. Now, you got to remember, RJ's been in the league, and RJ's another guy. He's been in the league since he was 19. He came in at 19 years old. He's only 23. He came in 2019. He's basically averaged about 71 games the last 3 seasons. Like I said, he's only played 8 right now. But he is looking like he's actually played in 3 less minutes over the last 3 this year than over the last 3. But he's averaging more points. He's averaging more opportunities, and he is just this guy that if you watch him attack the basket, like I said, the biggest thing that I noticed with him, like I said, he's attacking with both hands. He's not afraid to go in for contact. He is not afraid now to take that outside shot. You kind of see that he's building up a mindset and a fluidity, and he's getting more and more of an understanding of the game. And I just kind of think at this point in time, if you want to watch a guy that's going to take that Herculean step, I do think it's going to be Mr. Barrett. One of the things that the Giants, the Knicks need to stay away from, and that's why I call this video "Topping Out of Any Trades." You don't need to make a move. You don't need to go get a disgruntled guy to come in here. You don't need to go get a disgruntled all-star to come in here and play for the Knicks. You have Jalen Brunson, who admittedly am wrong. I was wrong about the fact that I thought he was going to play well when he came to New York. I did not believe he was going to live up to these types of expectations. He is truly a scoring threat. You remember him in those playoff games going up, going up against me. I can't even talk today because I'm actually reading something about the New York Giants. I don't want to talk about But you remember the playoff game that he went up against Donovan Mitchell, where they both scored like 30 something points, and I call it the Olay game because none of them played defense. It was Olay. Anytime anyone had the ball, but he's really made that step up, and you also have the likes of Julius Randle now. Early in the season, it came out now that Randle was dealing with the ankle injury from the surgery from last year. And he did not want to shut it. The Knicks wanted to shut him down for a couple of games. He did not want to get shut down. And he played through the pain. So I give him all the credit in the world for that. But the point that I was trying to make is going back and looking at this observationally, you don't need to make a trade. You don't need to go get a Donovan Mitchell right now. You don't need to break up the nucleus of this team, because I think if you do, you're going to waste something special in RJ Barrett. Because I'm going to tell you right now, any trade that's going to be for an all-star or a former all-star, it's going to include Barrett, because you're going to want Barrett. He's 23 years old and looks like he's stepping into his own. But the Knicks don't need to do something right now. You have a chemistry. You have a rotation. You have young guys that are playing well together. Look at the bench. Look at Quickly. Like I said, look at DiVincenzo. Look at these guys. They are playing well together. You do not want to break up this continuity. Yes, you're at 8-5. You have proven you are head and shoulders above of the lower level talent. You know you're probably above the mid-level talent. You're just not at the elite level yet. Now, the biggest issue that the Knicks have currently is the fact that they never really replaced Obi Toppin. Now, Obi Toppin dropped 27 the other night, but then came back down to earth and put up 8 against the Orlando Magic. Now, the thing with Toppin is this is what's going to happen. Look at the game. Look at the playoff game that he replaced Randle. He's going to put up big numbers for one game. He's going to tease you, and then you're going to turn around, and the next game he's going to fall back to earth. Toppin, to me, is an 8-point guy. He's a 4-rebound guy. That's just what he's going to be. But the problem is we never picked up a replacement for him to back up Randle. Now, I understand that Josh Hart has been playing that role, but Josh Hart is not going to be what we need in reference to backing up Julius, because we need Josh out there for other reasons as well. Now, if you want to make a trade, you need to find someone, and it's more of an ancillary trade. You need to find a backup for Julius. That's just plain and simple. Now, if we start heading into the dog days of summer, it's not really summer, the dog days of winter, we'll call it, you really, and you see that the Knicks are not moving forward. They're not progressing. Maybe they're only 3 games above 500. Maybe if you go 40 games in the season or 30 games in the season, you're only still 3 games above 500. You then maybe look for a spark, for a trade, for a superstar, for an all-star. But like I said, at this point in time, let's let the game flow. Let's just see what the Knicks can do. Let's see what's in front of them. Let's see how this team builds continuity together, because I like what I'm seeing after 13 games. We just got to keep pushing on, stay healthy, stay on course. Like I said, I think we're going to hit back to the 4 or 5 seed again in the playoffs. But it's way too early to talk about that. And I appreciate everyone taking some time and listening to the new pod. We're going to get the pod's probably going to be about 25, 30 minutes a piece. May do it weekly, may do it every other day. Haven't decided yet. But like I said, it's just a little fun talking New York Knicks basketball. And as always, put the needle on the record and let's go Knicks.